Does the princess dress look good? Like this?
Say yes. Say yes.
Or more like this?
Which way do you want it, Nico?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. Hi.
Hello. We never get that right. Okay, so welcome to Traffic and Conversion Meetup number 4. 4 summary. Yes, we've done 4 of these,
Wow.
and it's a lot of work. So today what do we do? What do we do?
We talked about the sales funnel execution process.
Oh yeah.
So, like you cannot really do good online marketing without an awesome strategy, and that's obvious, and that we already told you guys in the last 3 sessions.
Yeah, without a good strategy,
Nothing
all
works.
the execution in the world is not going to work. So if you don't have a strategy, you're done. So that's what we went over the last 2 times.
But on the other hand, you can have a fantastic strategy, but if you don't know how to execute it, this is where a
also
lot of
worthless.
projects actually fail.
Yeah.
We've seen it many times.
Execution.
We did it many times.
And one of the stories we told was about an NDA and how like new startup founders get so excited about their idea and they run to an investor or even like their friend and they're like, I'm going to tell you my startup idea, but you have to sign an NDA first. And it's completely ridiculous because an old investor once told me that if you ask an investor to sign an NDA, you're just basically showing them how inexperienced you are because everyone in the startup world really knows that a great idea is worth nothing without execution. So that's really what we talked about tonight.
And it's similar with like an awesome online marketing strategy. The execution is the key. And this was an awesome session because we gave a couple of very good rules and like step-by-steps.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first one was just a simple executional step-by-step formula. Like what are the things you have to do from the beginning to the end to make sure you can execute your online strategy well. So the first one was about building your team. Sam talked about it, like...
I love to build teams. They're great, they're fun. It's awesome to recruit good people. And then Ava came in last year when we first started working together and helped me organize it. So she talked about step 2.
Step 2 is just set up the systems in place for your team to be able to work smoothly on the project. So
Very important.
You have
Very
your
important.
funnel map. Now, how will you execute it? How will you communicate? How will you store your documents? How will you mock up your pages? How will you communicate between the team members? All these things, very important to set up first in place. I recommended some tools that we're going to be actually giving links to on our Facebook page later. So stay tuned. We're going to be posting more materials, not everything at once.
Yeah.
And your third step is actually to set up the technical structure. Obviously, it's online marketing and you're going to be online. So there's a lot of systems that can help you to make your execution much smoother. Not just the project management systems, but the actual marketing and automation systems, like landing page builders. You don't always have to hire, and Sam was talking about it. He was showing up like different roles that you can actually maybe delegate or do by yourself, or delegate to an actual software. And there is a couple of good softwares in the market that can help you to execute your sales funnel smoothly. And the 2 kinds of software that we focused on today was the landing page builders. And again, we're going to be giving you links on Facebook to the particular systems that you can use. And the marketing automation systems that are generally used mainly for the bulk emails sendouts. And we're also going to give you a couple of ideas for this kind of systems. There's a couple of more systems like payment processing, content management, analytics. We're going to cover these in the next meetups, but there is the whole like systematic structure of different technical tools that you should set up. And what was the step 4?
Step 4, we talked about.
You need some little.
Was this
do you need some little
yeah,
cheat sheet?
I do. It was a long night, but I think we talked next about how to mock up and build your landing pages, and any page that you build.
We're going to find it.
Not working.
Everything is working, Samuel. It wasn't there when we started.
Okay, so the 4th step
Number
is
step 4.
Number 4 is setting up your content delivery automation platform, and this is really something we're going to go into in detail in another meetup, which is how to set up production of content, your blog system, your distribution of content, all the different content marketing things you do. The fifth step, which we went over tonight, was how to mock up and do copy and then do design and programming for landing pages. And that can be any page on your website, any marketing page that you have. And then what was the fifth step?
And you actually gave a pretty cool process for it.
Yeah,
like mock-up.
Yeah, we went over how to mock up UX, which really any project manager should know how to do. The second step was how to do copy within that wireframe. And then finally, give that to a designer. And then, have you ever given something to a designer and you're like, design this page for me, and they come back with something completely different than what you expected? Well, it's not the designer stupid. It's that you actually gave them imprecise directions, and a designer is trained to design, not to come up with a marketing strategy for your page. So that's why this is really the most important skill that I believe any project manager, product owner can learn, is how to mock up and write copy for, or at least supervise writing the copy for their page. And then the designer, they're actually really good when you give them specific instructions.
And I also believe sometimes we are trying to restrain from it because we're like, we don't really have an idea for that.
Or the designer, you want to give the designer creative freedom. Well, you know what? Honestly, you want to make money online and you want to give them a framework and then let them get creative within that framework, because designers will really amaze you with what they can do with what you give them. The next part we went through is the content campaign design, and this is really once you have your content production tools set up, your YouTube channel, your blog, all those different things. Now, how do you do the campaigning? What are some different software tools?
But this one actually we're going to cover in the next meeting.
Yeah,
and we didn't go into detail.
We didn't go into detail on this tonight, and this is something we'll cover later. But basically, how do you do your content distribution? The next thing we went over is video campaign creation, and this is really how to use storyboard and map out your videos. Again, we didn't go into this in detail tonight. We just mentioned it, but this is part of the funnel building process. And really what we went into tonight are what we think are the most important basic steps. And the next most important basic step, number 7, was email campaign creation. And emails, the reason I love emails is they're free. Once you do the work, they can run on autopilot for very low cost with some really awesome email software that we recommended. And this is where you figure out how do you create that customer journey using emails. And it really is a journey. And if you think about it from their perspective, which is why we do ideal persona creation in our first meetup about this, then you can really tailor the message, how you write to them, the story that you tell them, what are their concerns.
And you show this little example, which we can show right now to everyone on the slide.
So really what I talked about on emails is once people go to a landing page, then they go to a thank you page, you have to follow up with emails. And there were really 6 main content pieces that I planned out for a client for their campaign. And the purpose of these emails is to create goodwill, give without expecting anything in return, add real value, speaking about their problems, not your solutions. We all like to write emails from our perspective because we want them to do something, but really, if you put yourself in their shoes and give it to them in their perspective and help them with their problems, then once you give, you can actually ask and just make them aware of your offer, and that's where the sales emails come in. And in some of these emails in the beginning with content, you can give them an opportunity to buy, but that's just not the main purpose of the email. So that's what we talked about in email strategy. Then we went in depth into how I did this for a specific client, which we went into. And then I gave the 10 rules of email copywriting.
From Andy Chapman, right?
Well, this is something I learned from my mentor, Andre Chaperon, who I think is the greatest email copywriter in the world and runs an amazing course called Autoresponder Madness. Also a good friend of mine, and we talked about the things I learned from him.
So can you mention a couple of these points? We're going to show now the slide with all of them,
so
but
here's all
the
most
points. Important.
The first 3, I think, are the most important. The first is always try and start the sentence with you, the subject. Not always, but as a general rule, try and start the sentence with you, meaning your client, in the specific single voice form, not you guys, because you want them to feel like it's personally written to them, because it is, because you've done your profiling. When you do have to use I, try and use we. You as a founder might think that you're most important, but you actually have a team. And when you say we, the subject can actually feel involved in that. They feel like that they're part of a team that's helping them with their goals. And then the next one is just really write very personally to that client. And then you can see the other rules about simplicity and other things. And then my last favorite rule is feel free to break any of these rules because I love having rules because they're a great guideline, but then sometimes you need to break them. And
sometimes it works.
That's one of the rules in writing and any kind of art is when there's a rule and everyone else is doing one thing, sometimes you do something completely different. As long as you think through what your ideal client would respond to, put yourself in their shoes, feel free to kind of break any of those rules.
Well, that was an exciting meetup, and you know, Sam showed a lot of his smartness there. Like, I was impressed, seriously.
Well, the thing I loved about this meetup is you saw the left brain and the right brain. So Eva is one of the best people I know about structure and details. And what I love and what I taught about tonight was creativity of the creation process and emails.
Wait a minute, so you mean I'm not creative?
You mean I'm not organized?
That's being slightly mean right now.
I think that's a good deal. Is I'm not as organized as you are, and probably
okay, Sam. This is not about us. Okay, so just to mention, in the end of the meetup, we also open up something that is for you. But you're going to learn about it in the next post.
Yeah. We offered a surprise to the Traffic and Conversion Meetup community, something a lot of people have been asking us for.
You're going to just observe our Facebook page because it's going to show up there very, very soon.
Yeah, and you want to get online.
Don't say more. Okay, so that's it.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.